we're here to celebrate the repeal of the 18th Amendment, Prohibition, the anniversary of the ratification and the repeal, and the ratification of the 21st Amendment, which is what brought it officially to a close in 1933, happened on December 5th, 1933. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to make really, truly what was probably the only real cocktail that came out of Prohibition. Because, when you're in a hurry to drink illegally or move stuff back and forth, all of it illegal, manufacture, sale, importing, exporting, transporting, it was all illegal thanks to Prohibition and the temperist movement, shall we say. They wanted us to be good citizens, and we weren't having it. Millions of Americans. Actually, at the time of Prohibition, this country was only half as big, if you can imagine. So we're going to make a cocktail that couldn't be easier. It's just simply called the Highball. I was kind of inspired to do this cocktail because when I was home over Labor Day, I asked my dad, your father, Grandpa, a man that unfortunately passed away in the 60s, yes, before I was ever born. I said, what did he drink? What was his kind of poison? And he said, I don't know, he just drank a Highball. And so a Highball is really just, 1 part either scotch or whiskey and 2 parts soda water. So that's what we're going to do. And we're going to use bourbon. Remember, all whiskey is a bourbon, not all bourbons are whiskey. I think I got that right for the first time ever. Okay, so Prohibition. It started officially again in, it was I believe, ratified in January of 1990, officially went into law here nationwide in the United States in 1920 and lasted until 1933. There were different places around the country that, people abstained. They didn't believe in it. They wouldn't do it. And those people were called the Dries. Yes, I know, clever name. And you might imagine the people that were all for it were like the rich Catholics. Didn't even know that there was much of a thing like that. The rich Catholics and the German immigrants, actually, because beer was their business. And they were fighting for everybody to stay wet, obviously. But the Dries won out because the U.S. entered the World War I. And, all wars are over money and religion. And so they took their money elsewhere, as you may or may not know. But Prohibition made some people rich, like Al Capone, bootlegging and all that other jazz, which is why we're listening to jazz, the Roaring 20s, the first Roaring 20s. Okay, so let's try this cocktail and talk a little bit more about this. We're going to make the Highball. Again, it's 2 ounces of scotch or whiskey. I'm doing a bourbon whiskey. And then 4 ounces of soda water. Easy peasy. Now, if you were, I got some of it in the glass. That's the good news. Again, if you were breaking the law, and again, millions of Americans wanted to do it. And when the stock market crashed in 1929, forget about it. All bets are off. And people wanted their booze. Champagne is probably the other equally popular drink, spirit, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's not a spirit, but a drink during Prohibition. And so, 4 ounces. Do we want to do this legit? I don't know how much 4 ounces is going to... Oh, there we go. I don't want to pour too much, But yeah, there were lots of movements around the country. Lots of people getting together trying to put a stop to the drinking. But for the fact that a world war broke out, we might have actually never gone dry, but we did. And, I don't know, really, maybe they just gave up the fight. I don't know why else they decided to repeal it and ratify it with the 21st Amendment. But again, 2 very important days on the calendar. In January, when it was first put into place with the 18th Amendment, and then December 5th, 1933, when it was all over and the Roaring 20s could commence. But, again, 1929, when the stock market crashed, ironically, there was something only 2% of the entire country that was invested in the stock market, but it just wreaked havoc. as you may or may not know. So, and, though there is a national law that makes it okay to drink, there are still like 154 dry counties in this country, in something like 27 states. Most of them are down there, down south, but we don't live in those counties. And to that, we will toast. We will raise a highball. I'm just going to give this a good stir because the bourbon wasn't chilled. And we're going to give it a try. It smells good. If you like bourbon, cheers to the end of Prohibition. I know. Yes. Somebody on Instagram is saying Corey's alcohol lesson, history lesson. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. I mean, I've become accustomed to liking a little sweetener in my drink, which is, again, what we've always been told, that all of Prohibition gave us all these different cocktails. And it did. But if you were in a hurry to break the law, chances are you weren't sourcing honey syrup and lime juice and all that other jazz. But this is good, but that is just like as neat and clean as it comes. So cheers to the end of Prohibition, to you and yours, to good health, more importantly. Those temporists can't get us to quit, can they? The temperist movement. God bless them. But thank you for watching on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, you guys. Yes, the little alcohol lesson today. And tomorrow, if you want to celebrate in your own way, knock back a little tipple, or maybe even a highball in a Collins glass, or a highball glass, as it's come to be known. So thank you guys for watching. Yes. Oh, wow. Somebody's like all excited to finally see